Hello, my name is Timothy Njakase. I'm speaking all the way from Uganda, East Africa. I'm glad to be part of the BioFarm conference for my first time, and I'm very excited to hear from you all, and I'm looking forward to being part of more of the BioFarm conference's activities. And a big thank you go to all previous presenters and all those behind this conference, especially thanks goes to Mr. Klaus Lindberg, who introduced me to the BioFarm team. It is events like this that assure us and therefore make it possible for more individuals from different walks of life to appreciate, improve, and apply biological or regenerative organic approaches to agriculture. Allow me to share with you my video concerning the presentation of BioFarm agriculture. Thank you. Kasenga River Food Organic Agriculture Center Limited is feed the soil to feed you. Can we share the following video as I'm presenting so that you can get a feel of what is happening at the center?
Hello, Uganda is known to be an agricultural country. 70 to 80% of small-scale farmers who contribute to the economy of the country. I am an agriculturist by profession and worked for the government for 12 years. Started engaging myself in agriculture after leaving the government, but I was a conventional farmer, whereby I used a lot of chemicals and artificial fertilizers. In 1998, I had an opportunity and got a scholarship to study organic farming in the UK for 9 months. During my study in the UK, I was posted to Riverford Organic Vegetables for internship for 2 weeks, where I got more experience in organic farming. Organic farming is a traditional type of farming with some new technologies, mostly to care for the soils. Timothy Njakase is my name, the Managing Director of Kasenga River Food Organic Agriculture Center Limited, situated in Mukono, Uganda. Kasenga River Food Agriculture Center is one of the few training centers in Uganda, and it offers training in sustainable organic agriculture from soil conservation to marketing of organic produces. Our emphasis is put on vulnerable people, women, youth, and people with disabilities. It is all about the mindset of the people that we focus on so that they understand that organic farming is the only way to conserve our soils and the environment in Uganda. The training center offers training whereby 70% is hands-on and the remaining 30% is theory. Kasenge hosts interns from colleges and universities, national and international institutions. Also offer agritourism. We do consultation to upcoming farmers, especially those who plan to retire from the government and other sectors of employment. We carry out catering services. We have camp venue for tourists. And of course, we've got accommodation. And we are working on starting of export of dried fruits, herbs, and teas.
The services we offered at Kasenga River Food Organic Agriculture Center Limited, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we've got agricultural training, whereby we have different types of people like the farmers themselves, the students who come up for a training. It could be 1 day or 2 days, a week or a month. Our training here is mostly hands-on. 70% of our training here is hands-on. We need a farmer to have a feel. If it is making compost, he has to make it. By doing the practical, you can't forget. So hands-on here is emphasized. Trainers implementation. We make sure that the people who come here for training, they go back and practice. And what we usually do, we make a follow-up to see our students, how they are performed. So we emphasize on implementation. As you can see, we have so many people or farmers who come for training who have implemented, and you've got a lot of success, especially when I look at the urban farming. People have really done a lot to make sure they implement what they have. Then we have agricultural consultation. We get so many people who come here for consultation, like some people leave their job and they have to go for farming because, as you know, Uganda is an agricultural country. Farming is a business, so they come here to carry out farming as a business. So we do consultation for those people, and even some of the farms bring in their workers to train them in management of the farm. Agricultural production also, of course, we follow it like if you train the farmers, they have to go back and you do practice. Here at the center, we cut out different types of crops, and also we rear animals, zero grazing, so that we can really, because this type of farming is mixed farming, which can look at the soil and the crops can benefit from the good soils. We also cut out agrotourism. Agrotourism, this is where people come to see what is happening at the farm. And they have a feel on what is taking place. And from here, they go back and implement of what they have seen. We usually get students from different secondary schools, universities, and even if some companies send here their workers to come and learn so that they can have something to be done in the future. We also attend this agrotourism. We also attend seminars and exhibitions. We take our products, which has actually sold us to all Ugandans and even people outside who attend those shows. Of course, accommodation, we've got facilities for accommodation, very good, nice facilities, which can be affordable to all walks of life, all people when they come here. Conference center, of course, we do have a conference center where we gather, where the visitors come, and we discuss and share about the training in organic farming. And at times, we might have a one-day training. So after going around the farm, we sit and share what we have found. Camp and the party venue. This is a nice place for camp and the party venue. We really involve people who come for party venue. Actually, when they come, they don't stop on the party. They see what is going on and learn more about sustainable organic agriculture. Catering, we are the most very first class catering people in Uganda, because what we prepare is 80% mostly is organic food. So we cater for all stages of people who come here for a training or for a party. Kasenge, at times you can wonder, because we are at the hill, and you can't expect crops to grow at the hillside. But now in Kasenge, we have tried our best, and you can see wonders as far as crop production is concerned. Now let us look at biological regenerative approach. Agriculture pioneers developed organic farming system to restore soil productivity and seed quality. Like a slow tilling, of course, as I said, our land is sort of sleepy, and we cut out all the activities like digging trenches to catch the soil, the moving soil with water, and you have done it. Actually, when you come, you wonder how you have done it. And some people who come here, they wonder because they say that their soils are very good compared to ours, but they are seeing things here are growing very nicely. So all those practices, we do it here. Organic agriculture, a production system that is managed to respond to site-specific conditions by introducing cultural, biological, and mechanical practices that foster recycling of resources. We need recycling of resources because if we have only one resource, like when we look at the some of the nutrients, if it is just one nutrient, it will not perform well. But we need to have a recycling of resources to promote a ecological balance and conserve biodiversity. You have to understand that each farm is a unique individual considering soil, texture, type, conditions. Like you can't say that hilly soils are the same as swampy soils. So you need to put that into consideration. Climate, temperature, rainfall. Some areas, of course, have got heavy rainfall. Like here in Mukono, where we are situated, we have rains. But when you go in the north and east, the rains are rare. So you have also to compare the climate. Crop, livestock production system, wildlife beneficial pests, and the farmer objectives, market needs. You need to, you see, when you are doing something in farming, you have to look at a market. You have to make sure that whatever you grow is in the market. That's why we always tell people to do market survey before they do anything as far as production is concerned. Integrated practices, multiple factors for each goal. Weeds are managed by one, crop rotation. Crop rotation, you know that it is the changing, it is the changing of crops. You don't need to do what we call monoculture. You have to, and you have to put that into consideration that you have to have the companion crops growing together. At times, there are some deep-rooted crops and shallow-rooted crops. So when you are doing crop rotation, you have to put that one into consideration. Cover cropping, this is also very important. With the cover cropping, you are doing what? You are making sure that you control the erosion, and even the materials which you have used for covering, when they rot, they put in nutrients. And again, other materials that is being used to cover the crops, because we might be having a live materials like you know, we have the live materials like the nitrogen fixing plants, like the beans, you can use them, like coriander, you can use them, magic bean, you can use them, so that you can control the erosion. Optimum crop and nutrient management. You need to make sure that that's why spacing comes in. You need to do spacing so that the crops can have enough area for feeding itself. Timely cultivation. This is very important. In most cases here, all over the world, when you don't plant timely, you get problems like pest infestations. Pests have got their own periods where they come and invade the crops. So you must make sure that you have the what? The timely planting. Prepare your bed in time so that you can achieve what you're supposed to do. Integrate practices, multifunctional components like cover crops, which I mentioned. This prevent erosion. Cover crops prevents erosion. Then add organic matter. This is really very important. Like people who uses this inorganic fertilizers, Those are just short-lived. For example, I made a research on bananas. If I use compost on banana, I can take about 3 years without adding compost. But again, when you use these artificial fertilizers, every year you have to add the artificial fertilizers. So always good to add organic matter. Fixed nitrogen legumes. You have to grow legumes which fixes nitrogen naturally and take up surplus nitrogen like grasses, and even it suppresses weeds. Cycling. Recycle fertility resources on the farm. Cover crops and green manures. These are very important. Animal manure, other on-farm residues. You see, in organic farming, you don't lose anything. Everything is recycled, and then it brings back the good results. Deep-rooted crops and prevention nutrient loss via runoff and erosion. Ecological balance. This maintains a healthy living soil. I have to repeat this. This maintains a healthy living soil. When I talk of healthy living soil, this is the soil which is left without using chemicals, and it allows the microorganism to act. These microorganisms are living organisms in the soil that makes our soils fertility. So you have to maintain the healthy living soils. Provide NPK, that's nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus, but not too much. Actually, when you do the compost also neutralizes all those nutrients together, and they release them according to the plant needs. Use culture and biological pest control. Yeah, because now when you look at those days in the 50s and whatever, we are not having these chemicals and the inorganic fertilizers. But our grandfather and grandmothers used to do culture and biological pests. You leave the pests to control themselves. Then also utilize least toxic pest sprays when needed. Biodiversity, crops, livestock, insect life, native vegetation, wild habitat. As I've mentioned, all those components form biodiversity, and they have to exist for people to live in a good biodiversity so that we can live in a good environment. Let us talk about insects. Despite their small size, the sheer numbers or biomass of insects means that they have a significant impact on the environment and therefore upon lives. Insects represent more than half, about 53% of the 1.5 million species of living organisms known to science. They have roles as recyclers of dead matter, and many organisms, including most of the higher plants, could not exist without them. Insects may be of benefit to us or be regarded as pests. Most are beneficial or have an indirect influence. Less than 0.1% of insects are regarded as pests. You are aware that bees are one of a social insect, and it's beneficial to our crops because bees carry out pollination to the crops that cannot pollinate themselves. So bees transfer pollen to different crops. So those are very beneficial insects which we need. And when we spray, we spoil all the environment, and you'll find out that the fertilization in some crops will not take place. Let's look at livestock in integrated systems. While you are doing biological farming or organic farming, you need to be a mixed farmer. You have to be with livestock because livestock provide manure to crop nutrients. Then we have the rotation to perennial forage rests soil after intensive annual crop production. And by the way, are you aware that grazing reduces weeds and crop diseases? If you don't know, try to observe. Crop residues and cows provide livestock fodder. So livestock in the system is really very important. Soil facility and crop nutrients management practices standard. You have to maintain or improve the physical, chemical, and biological condition of soil and minimize erosion. Erosion is a serious practice because when you leave the soil to move away, all the organic matter, all the nutrients are being washed away. And that's why you find that in the swamps, most of the swampy soils are very rich in nutrients. But to avoid that, you need to make sure that you control the erosion in some of the points I mentioned, practices I mentioned earlier, whereby you have to make a contour, you have to cover etc. So those are the practices, some of the practices that control erosion. You have to manage crop nutrients and soil fertility through rotation, cover crops, and the application of plant and animal materials. Crop pest, weed, and disease management practices standard. Use management practices to prevent crop pests, weeds, and diseases, including crop rotation and nutrient management, sanitation, cultural practices that enhance crop health, habitat for natural enemies of pests, augmentation or introduction of predators or parasites of pests. We have got a saying that prevention is better than cure. So when you carry out those practices, you'll be preventing a lot of enemies that can affect your crops. Nutrient management. Based on the soil life, feed the soil, and the soil will feed the crop. And eventually, it will feed the human being. So legumes for nitrogen are important. Slow release organic fertilizers as supplements, and less emphasis on soluble fertilizers. As I said, these soluble fertilizers, they just work for a short time. And when you come out to the organic farming fertilizers, those take a long time without many, take longer time in the soil, and the plant just get little by little, and you don't need always to add organic matter, organic fertilizer to the soil. It can take long in the soil supplying the crops. Pest management, preventive practices, for example, sanitation and crop rotation. You must make sure that your field is clean and you cut out crop rotation. By doing so, you'll be preventing the pest infestation. Biological-based uses natural enemies of pests. Biologically, pests can be controlled. For example, you can plant cabbages and mix them with onions. As you are aware that onions will be repelling the pests because of the smell. Then non-use of synthetic pesticides protects water and wildlife. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to know the components of farming, whereby man is a leader. If man is not there, nothing can be achieved. And it is the man who destroys the environment. So this is now the time people to know that we are very important and we have to manage the environment by managing other components. As I said, man is the main person, is the main of the 5 components. Then we have the animals, we have the trees, we have the soil, we have the crops. All are co-dependent and indivisible. Each one depends on each other. So we need a system that doesn't break the ecosystem. Then the principles of organic farming or biotic farming. One of the principles is care. Precautions and responsibility are the key concerns in management, development, and technology choices in organic agriculture. New technologies need to be assessed and existing methods reviewed. Given the incomplete understanding of ecosystem and agriculture, care must be taken. Health, the health of individuals. No one can work when he is sick. So we have to make sure that we are healthy. And the communities cannot be separated from the health of ecosystem. Healthy soils produce healthy crops and foster the health of animals and people. High quality nutrition organic produce contributes to preventive health care and well-being. So health is the wholeness and integrity of living system. It's not simply the absence of illness, but the maintenance of physical, mental, social, and ecological well-being. Immunity, resilience, and regeneration are key characteristics of health. Fairness. These involved in organic agriculture should conduct human relations in a manner that ensures fairness at all levels and all parties: farmers, workers, processors, distributors, traders, and consumers. My friend, a farmer, let the workers be part of the farm. Let them share what can be shared. They will become good people on the farm, and they will work to their expectation. So organic agriculture should provide everyone involved with a good quality of life and contribute to food sovereignty and reduction of poverty. It aims to produce a sufficient supply of good quality food and other products. Fairness is characterized by equity, respect, justice, and stewardship of the shared world, both among people and their relations to other living beings. Ecology. Production is to be based on ecological processes and recycling. Nourishment and well-being achieved through the ecology of specific production. Environment. For example, in the case of crops, this is the living soil. For animals, it is the farm ecosystem for fish and marine organisms, the aquatic environment. So organic farming, pastoral, and wild harvest systems should feed the cycles and ecology balances in nature. Above all, we need to take socio-economic analysis of our impact, including gender analysis, gender analysis, and make sure entire communities benefit, not leaving anyone behind, and therefore transforming communities alongside all our work. Allow me to share with you the success of Kasenge Riverford Organic Training Center, which you are about to see or to view. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joanne Nawatanzi, the co-founder and co-CEO of the Girl Now Foundation, an organization that's working with Kasenge Riverford Organic Agriculture Center so that we can empower girls through agriculture. I am also a first-year student at Makerere University doing a bachelor's degree in horticulture. I knew about Kasenge at the start of this year when I had attended a certain conference on grafted tomatoes, and that is when I got to know the place. And when lockdown came in, I decided to come and have a practical and hands-on experience and learn the wonderful agriculture skill set at this place. So when I came, of course, I was studying. I learned a lot of things thanks to everyone that was here. But I noted and noticed that if we would involve the whole community in what's happening here, it would make a really, really big difference, and also for the betterment and development of our country and the world at large. And so we decided and worked with the people here to make sure that we can involve the girls in the agricultural practices that happen here, and also do some other social development and work on the girls as a whole. Actually, it was in that time that we even started the Girl Now Foundation, which is doing a lot more with girls and also is going to proceed more and more. I am one of the many, many success stories of the people that have come through Kasenge River Ford and have built their lives, have started farms, they've joined very many other companies, they've become really successful in life, they've understood the essence of organic agriculture, and definitely there are a lot more that are going to come and learn and experience the change that happens here. Of course, their mindset towards agriculture. And now, right now, we are focusing on empowering more of these girls and probably their parents, and therefore thereafter the entire community, to understand the use for agriculture and why they need to have their girls empowered, their girls in school, and their girls, of course, becoming the role models that they are meant to be, instead of being held up by the cultural practices that probably stop them from becoming whatever it is they're supposed to do, but doing all that with an agricultural background. I thank everyone here at Kasenge for the support and the help that they've been rendering to us, and you know that the dreams we're going to build are much more than what you expect. And we invite and call upon all of you to collaborate with us and see how we can make this world a better place for girls and communities here in Uganda, of course with the agricultural background, and thereafter we shall have the world become a better place. Thank you.
Welcome back from that success story, and you've seen it, that's the importance of gender analysis. Gender, we take here gender as a very important aspect. So now planning for inclusive, equitable development outcomes. Now, of course, as we have mentioned about gender, monitoring and evaluation of different development impacts on men and women. When we talk of gender, we look at sharing the roles of men and women and even the children. So as the small videos you viewed, so many is taking place at Kasenge, and the training of young girls has helped the community, people to realize that women have a say. Gender analysis provides empirical evidence to avoid perpetuating stereotypes. Some people say women cannot do A, B, C, D. But when you come at Kasenge, the students that come here, they do a lot of work, lifting, even if it comes to construction, if it comes to apply organic manure, they do cut out like men. So we should not overlook the women in doing their work. You are welcome to collaborate. We need collaboration. Come and we work together to promote organic farming and gender as a whole in Uganda. Thank you for listening, and now time for questions. Thank you, viewers and listeners, for the presentation and the videos. And also I have to thank the organizers of this important sharing of organic farming. Thank you.